How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. It is a very special occasion here in the Florida Keys. It is, well, kind of all over in the Southeast. It is Grouper Opener. If you're unfamiliar, what that means is every year, January 1st to April 30th, they close grouper season, and May 1st, they open it back up, and we're allowed to harvest groupers. What are you doing? Is it current ripping?
Yeah, and
oh no.
And we got 6 foot of viz.
That's not good. So what Justin just informed me is the current's moving about 2 to 3 knots, and as you can see, there's no visibility, so this should be fun. This will test our skills.
I'm really excited. Let's go, boys.
There won't be a whole lot of talking today. What we're doing is commercially harvesting groupers, what we're going to attempt to. And what that means is we come out, we shoot a bunch of groupers, we sell them to the restaurant, and the restaurant sells them to everybody in town. So if you're visiting Key West, you get to kind of see behind the scenes of how the fish makes it all the way to your plate, all the way from the ocean. So we're getting suited up, and we're going to hop in and see if hopefully we can see a fish or two. Oh no. Listen, I can see the tip of my spear. Welcome back underwater, everybody. This is an exciting one, May 1st, my favorite time of the year. If by chance this is your first time watching one of my commercial videos and it makes you feel negatively in any way, I just simply ask that you do some research before you leave a comment and telling me that I'm wrecking the oceans. Commercial fishing is a vast industry, and there are all types of different things that you can do in your daily life that are supporting it, even if you think you're not. If you get your favorite shrimp dish at Olive Garden, your favorite calamari appetizer is harvested by commercial fishing, even as far as some of your pet's food, your cats and dog foods can have fish or fish byproducts in them that are harvested by a form of commercial fishing. So if this makes you angry, just understand we are selecting one fish at a time. We're not long lining, we're not dragging nets. We are picking one fish one by one to sell to the market so the locals and the tourists can enjoy these fish and eat them for dinner. So this is my first drop. That grouper, nice one, just kind of had a weird angle. I didn't have a great breath. Probably could have taken the shot. I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I like my fish to be a little more broadside, and I decided to let that one swim. Drop number 2. This first spot was about 60, I think it was like 60, 65 feet, somewhere around there if I remember correctly. And if you are new to the channel, we are doing all of this free diving. There's no scuba tanks. You don't hear any bubbles. We're just holding our breath, one dive at a time. And as always, I say this, the GoPro makes the water look a lot cleaner than it is. It was very, very murky. I personally don't like this. I think it's challenging, and it hones your skills a bit. Another black came in, waited till it turned sideways, and first grouper of the season was a stone shot. Love to get them. Not only is it more humane, having a stone shot on the fish, it kills it instantly, but you don't have to fight the fish on the bottom. It's not running around, smashing into the coral and all that, so try to get those stone shots when we can. And to give you a realistic timeline and amount of dives this day, I did a total of, I want to say it was 28 dives total. I'm only going to show you a few. And we dove from about, I want to say it was 8:39 in the morning until about I think it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So quite a long day, lots of diving. You're going to see mainly just the highlights. This was my third drop on this spot. A couple of groupers out here. I'm kind of leaning into them a little. They just very squirmy, weren't having it. No reason to throw a Hail Mary there, so I let them swim and we moved along to the next spot. And you can see the props on the boat, the motors spinning here, excuse me. The current is really bad. It just makes it difficult when you're anchored in diving. If you're drift diving, it's one thing, but when it's this murky, it's really hard to drift dive because you can't spot the bottom. You're just dropping and hoping to land on a fish. Here, anchored up, we can actually anchor right on top of spots. And this second spot was kind of odd. It was really murky on the bottom. The current was a lot, or murky on the top. The current on the bottom was a lot worse, but the water was cleaner. So more current, little cleaner water. You see this nice black grouper cruising around, kind of on its way out. I'm real slow, just wait until it gives me enough broadside and I'm close enough. And shot number 2 of the season was a stone shot as well. And diving in current can be very challenging. If you're a beginner, do not recommend it. In this video especially, but in a lot of our videos, we do a lot of stuff that is pretty advanced for free diving. We've been doing this for years. I've been diving with this group of guys particularly for quite some time. Just stay in your lane. You can really get into trouble if you're not careful. As always, I brain and bleed everything.
The current is really bad here. Just a heads up, don't get too far behind it.
So we were just about to leave this spot. We hadn't seen many fish and we had given it about 10 minutes and Parker did one more drop and he said, dude, there's like 10 groupers down there, and we almost didn't believe him because we hadn't seen many. So I swam up to the anchor line just to give myself a little head start, and I do a drop, and you can see in the left corner of the screen there's just a wall of black groupers. I don't know where they came from, came in to check us out. Not something you see every day. And just to give you a little perspective, the smallest one in that school's about 15, 18 pounds. There were some really hefty ones. And I could have pursued this fish, but I'm down current already. I'm going to get behind the boat. I'm just going to put myself in a bad situation. So I decided to bail, and we're going to reposition the boat. Those fish had swam out toward the deeper edge. We're in about 60. There's an edge that rolls off to about 100. They swam to the deeper edge, so we decided to pull the anchor, move over about 200 feet, and get on the other side of them. And that's what we did, and you'll see what happens here shortly. So we're on the second spot. The problem we're dealing with, if you're not familiar with spearfishing or what we're doing in general, the main problem is the water's kind of dirty. It's actually clean on the bottom on this spot, but what's really giving us grief is that the current is moving really fast. So what we're doing is divers start here, drop. We have a line out that you can hang on to. We have a safety back there that watches this diver drop and come back up. But you have to fight the current. It just makes it a little more difficult. Just adds another layer of fun to the whole process. But I'd say conditions are not ideal compared to what we're used to. But we're making do, and got 2 fish in the boat. See how it goes. So this is actually Justin's camera. He has a GoPro 8, and I messed with the settings. I may have messed something up. It's got a pretty blue tint to it, but compared to mine. But he actually, this is right after we moved the boat, we shifted over, and he shot a really nice black grouper. I think it was like 29 pounds gutted or something, but unfortunately the camera was tilted up and it didn't get it. It didn't capture the clip. He talks about that fish here in just a sec, but this is his second drop after we moved the boat. Another nice grouper comes in. Waits till he turns sideways and gets a good shot on it.
First one of the year. Look at that paintbrush.
Yeah.
Nice 2-inch thick paintbrush on them.
So the current's ripping, I don't know, it's got to be 2 knots down on the bottom. So I dropped off the anchor line because Aaron was saying there was a whole bunch of fish back there. And he wasn't wrong. There's about 10 to 12 of them at least. And this was one of the larger ones of the group, but there was certainly some bigger fish. Was really lucky with a stone shot. First shot with the new hot rod gun, and was able to close the gap and roll them. I was having a little issues about down on the tag line. I was kind of yelling at the guys because this fish was catching the current, and I couldn't get to the tag line. Finally, I just gave it everything I had and burnt my legs out, got to the tag line, and Parker was able to get me in.
So on this particular spot, I think we took 4 groupers off of it. We saw probably a total of about 15. So the videos, it's hard to capture everything that you see and you do. We try to harvest responsibly. We don't just go to spots and completely decimate them. Take just a few here and there and then move on to the next. That's how the populations stay healthy. And the grouper population is extremely healthy down here, if you're not familiar. You can see a nice black behind this rock. I kind of use the rock to hide behind as I'm coming up, and I go to take a shot, and the second I pull the trigger, it shifts forward just a little bit and hits him a little high. Luckily, it did hold on and didn't tear out. I actually think I went, now that I think about it, I think I went the entire day. I didn't tear out of a single fish. That's a pretty good day. But another nice grouper. After this dive, they kind of all spread out and got a little spooky, and we decided to move on to the next.
That's how you do it. Shoot it right under the boat, come straight up.
So it's wild how much the conditions can change if you move just a little bit. We moved a half a mile, and that nice clean water on the bottom went away. The current went away, but it got really, really dirty. The water can fluctuate quite a lot down here. You can see on the way down there's a gag grouper. That little white pale kind of shadow was a gag grouper. Don't see a lot of those. Thought about giving chase, but kind of a rare treat to see them. I just try to leave them alone if I can. And there was a black grouper here. I probably should have committed. I'm being a little greedy, looking for a bigger one. There's a black grouper here, being pretty mellow, but on his way out, and he's in no hurry. He just didn't really turn sideways like I wanted it to. I was being pretty lazy about this fish. I probably should have taken a shot, but I didn't. Just never gave me that broadside I like.
Big old pinky.
Big old pink snapper.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Like 2 different ways. Garbage.
Dude, these
Shafts on air today.
That's big. Two shafts down already on Aaron's tab.
That mutton snapper that Gavin shot was an absolute monster. I don't know if you can tell in the video. It actually ended up going 15.5 pounds gutted. It's one of the bigger ones I've ever had on the boat, I think. Maybe the biggest, actually. So I get to the bottom, kind of scanning around. Not a whole lot going on. Pretty murky. There's a grouper here off in the distance, just trying to get it to turn. 2 of them actually. Just waiting for that broadside. I think it was based on how it was swimming. I think it was that same fish, and I waited just enough broadside there. That one a little premature, maybe a little frustration, but got a good shot in the face. No meat. Try to get to the fish and avoid them just wrapping up more. You don't want a fish on the bottom down there thrashing. That's how they get sharked. So it probably comes as no surprise. The boys weren't too thrilled with this visibility and conditions. It's definitely a little frustrating and does make it tough, but that old saying, I think it's a smooth seas never made a skilled sailor or something like that. I don't mind hunting in this. It's good practice. If you can shoot fish in this, some nice muttons come in. Good stone shot. If you can shoot fish in this, you can shoot fish in crystal clear water and no current any day. That was pretty cool. It's like 4 or 5 muttons. I think there was more off in the distance. The camera didn't really pick them up, but maybe a little small aggregation of them spawning. This time of year, the muttons actually are doing their spawning.
A couple more Key West pinks. Hey Aaron, how's the viz?
Like spinach cereal.
What do you say? Spinach cereal. Pea soup.
If you are not familiar, that is a Goliath grouper. They are protected down here. Another nice mutton comes in. Wait until I got the shot I like. I was feeling good. Had a few stone shots. Been a while. So it is. So it is 12:20. Ran over this on the way to another spot. We're gonna give it a check. Water is still crap. We're doing okay. Slowly getting there. Well, we got like six blacks, some nice. Look at that mutton, dude. Gavin shot a moose of a mutton. That thing might be 15. But we're plugging along. This is a new spot. We're gonna hop in and check it out. So this is a new spot. Never dove it, never even fished it or anything. While I'm out, I at least try to hit at least 1 or 2 new spots. It's the only way you find new areas. It's the only way you don't overfish the ones you have. If you sit there and dive the same spots repeatedly, eventually you're going to fish them out. So first drop, looks great. Nice chunky bottom. Not really Swiss cheese like I talk about, but pretty chunky, close to it. And this grouper comes in, wait till it turns. I thought it was hiding behind a fan, and not today. But it does shoot right into a hole, which is not ideal. Where this spot was back in the current, And I typically wouldn't pull on a fish like that just from the shaft. I saw the shot, saw where the flopper set. I knew it was in there good, but pulled a couple times, didn't go, so I actually ended up reaching my hands in there and getting the fish by the gills. Not ideal on a deeper, longer dive like that, especially when you're fighting the current, but I wanted to get this fish out in one try. I didn't want to have to go back down.
That was fun. You hold up. Yeah, that was not fun. That was not a fun dive.
So if I remember correctly, this is when I first started to kind of feel my fatigue, started to get a little tired. Nice broadside, didn't get the stone shot I wanted, and typically I would swim down and grab this fish. I just didn't want to push the dive. I felt a little out of breath there, so I pulled the fish up, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm not going to put my life at risk for the sake of getting a fish. But yeah, I started to get tired right here, and it starts to show.
Woo! That was a good one.
Nice one.
Oh, nice paintball.
How do you feel, Aaron? Give us a full description.
65. That current is kicking my butt.
Good shot.
It's moving. Hold it up.
I need to sit down.
Take it down. That's a good one. Skinny.
Yeah, baby.
Long though.
They're making us work for it today.
So we are getting there. So we use this as a saltwater brine, add salt water to the ice, gets it really cold, kind of flash chills them, and we're running out of room, so I'm gonna move everything up to this bigger cooler up here. This cooler, completely full, is close to my commercial limit, so I can transport all these fish to the front. Getting a little tired. I'm gonna take 20 minutes. I'm starting to take sloppy shots, which tells me I am getting tired. But all in all, having a blast and lots of fish around.
If you can't see them, they can't see you.
Exactly.
Good. That's not how it works, bud. If you get really scared, just close your eyes.
You're gonna hit your head on the bottom. It's pretty deep.
Tons of life on this spot. First drop on it, I'm on my way down, and this grouper actually comes up to meet me. And a little early, I don't really like that quartering 45 shot, kind of a weird angle, and again, I start taking rush shots when I get tired. Not ideal. Luckily, I did get the fish. It did not tear out. Really dirty water. I get people that always say, oh, you say it's never like this and it's always clear. Well, we only film one day a week, and we try to pick the best day of the week to film. So you normally don't see these days.
Terrible shot.
Little butterball. Lit up.
So this actually ended up being my last drop of the day. Starting to get a few leg cramps here and there. Get down on the bottom, there's a little nurse shark. Got a black grouper, cruising along. I thought I had a good shot, and I didn't realize until I go back and watch this. The second I pulled the trigger, this fish twitched. Watch. Hard right. And I got lucky. I fully should have missed that watching this back. I should have missed that fish. It's actually spooked another one there. The second I pulled the trigger, it twitched, and it just barely hit it in the lip. I got extremely lucky on this one. Not the shot I like, but I will take it. I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week, that's for sure. Another nice fish to the market.
Another one. Ooh, that's a nice one. Aaron's DJ Khaled with the grouper today.
I need a water.
Some juicy ones down there. 59, like probably 61 to the sand. So I am shot. I'm getting a little sloppy on my dives and my shots, just getting tired, so I'm gonna pull myself out of the game. Done really well considering the conditions. Justin and Gavin are gonna hit one more spot. And we're gonna hit the market.
There's some muttons in there too, hold on. Alrighty, I have some commercial numbers here for you. I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I'm not sure how much you guys actually still enjoy these. The channel, I feel like, and the audience has changed quite a bit in the last year, but hopefully you guys still enjoy them. So we went out May 1st, grouper opener. We had a total of just over 180 pounds of fish. Ended up a little shy of my commercial limit's 225 of grouper snapper. We ended up a little shy, but that's okay. And I will say, a lot of people ask about these commercial trips. I don't do this as much anymore. I mean, realistically, I do maybe 10 commercial trips the entire year. I'm fortunate enough that I'm busy enough with charters that that's my primary income. And as I always say in the past videos, this is not all going into the bank. There is a lot of expenses associated with running a commercial vessel and a boat in general. So like I said, 180 pounds of fish total, $1,100 total sale. Expenses was about 220 bucks. So we had a grand total of about $880 daily profit. Again, not going all into the bank account. I say that every time, but every time I make one of these videos, everyone's like, I'm gonna start a commercial fishing operation and I'm gonna be rich. It doesn't work that way, I promise. But that is all I have. If you have any questions about this, I'd be happy to answer them. I know commercial fishing is kind of a highly debated topic. If you feel the need to leave a negative comment, maybe do a little research before you do that. Most of the people that leave negative comments on these videos are just uneducated. It's not their fault. That is all I have. It's the end of my speech. Any questions, leave it in the comments. Anything you'd like to see, let me know. We're getting into summertime, so a lot of the fishing will be changing, a lot more diving. That is all I have. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.